Kia ora koutou, welcome back to our final reading of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe at the end of chapter 17, part 1. We got up to the part where they were telling us about the kinds of kings and queens the 4 children had become. So they lived in great joy, and if ever they remembered their life in this world, it was only as one remembers a dream. And one year it fell out that Tumnus, who was a middle-aged fawn by now and beginning to be stout, came down river and brought them news that the white stag had once more appeared in his parts. The white stag who would give you wishes if you caught him. So these 2 kings and 2 queens, with the principal members of their court, rode a-hunting with horns and hounds in the western woods to follow the white stag. And they had not hunted long before they had a sight of him, and he led them a great pace over rough and smooth and through thick and thin, till the horses of all the courtiers were tired out, and these 4 were still following. And they saw the stag enter into a thicket where their horses could not follow. Then said King Peter, for they talked in quite a different style now, having been kings and queens for so long, "Fair consorts, let us now alight from our horses and follow this beast into the thicket, for in all my days I have never hunted a nobler quarry." "Sir," said the others, "even so let us do." So they alighted and tied their horses to trees and went on into the thick wood on foot. And as soon as they entered it, Queen Susan said, "Fair friends, here is a great marvel, for I seem to see a tree of iron." "Madam," said King Edmund, "if you look well upon it, you shall see it is a pillar of iron with a lantern set on the top of it." "By the lion's mane, a strange device," said King Peter, "to set a lantern here, where the trees cluster so thick about it, and so high above it, that if it were lit, it should give light to no man." "Sir," said Queen Lucy, "by likelihood, when this post and lamp were set here, there were smaller trees in the place, or fewer, or none, for this is a young wood, and the iron post is old." And they stood looking upon it. Then said King Edmund, "I know not how it is, but this lamp on the post feels strange to me. It runs in my mind that I have seen the like of it before, as if it were in a dream, or in the dream of a dream." "Sir," answered they all, "it is so with us also." "And more," said Queen Lucy, "for it will not go out of my mind that if we pass this post and lantern, either we shall find strange adventures, or else some great change of our fortunes." "Madam," said King Edmund, "the like feels in my heart also." "And in mine, fair brother," said King Peter. "And in mine too," said Queen Susan. "Well, by my counsel we should lightly return to our horses, and follow this white stag no further." "Madam," said King Peter, "therein I pray thee to have me excused, for never since we 4 were kings and queens in Narnia have we set our hands to any high matter, as battles, quests, feats of arms, acts of justice and the like, and then given over, but always what we have taken in hand, the same we have achieved." "Sister," said Queen Lucy, "my royal brother speaks rightly, and it seems to me we should be shamed if, for any fearing or foreboding, we turned back from following so noble a beast as now we have in chase." "And so say I," said King Edmund, "and I have such desire to find the signification of this thing, that I would not by my good will turn back for the richest jewel in all Narnia and all the islands." "Then, in the name of Aslan," said Queen Susan, "if you will have it so, let us go on and take the adventure that shall fall to us." So these kings and queens entered the thicket, and before they had gone a score of paces, they all remembered that the thing they had seen was called a lamp-post. And before they had gone 20 more, they noticed that they were making their way not through branches, but through coats. And the next moment they all came tumbling out of a wardrobe door into the empty room, and they no longer were kings and queens in their hunting array, but just Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy in their old clothes. There they are, tumbling out of the wardrobe. It was the same day and the same hour of the day on which they had all gone into the wardrobe to hide. Mrs. Macready and the visitors were still talking in the passage, but luckily they never came into the empty room, and so the children weren't caught. And that would have been the very end of the story if it hadn't been that they felt they really must explain to the Professor why 4 of the coats out of his wardrobe were missing. And the Professor, who was a very remarkable man, didn't tell them not to be silly or not to tell lies, but believed the whole story. No, he said, I don't think it will be any good trying to go back through the wardrobe door to get the coats. You won't get into Narnia again by that route. Now, nor would the coats be much use by now if you did, eh? What's that? Yes, of course you'll get back to Narnia again some day. Once a king in Narnia, always a king in Narnia. But don't go trying to use the same route twice. Indeed, don't try to get there at all. It'll happen when you're not looking for it. And don't talk too much about it, even among yourselves. And don't mention it to anyone else unless you find that they've had adventures of the same sort themselves. What's that? How will you know? Oh, you'll know all right. Odd things they say, even their looks, will let the secret out. Keep your eyes open. Bless me, what do they teach you at school these days? And that was the very end of the adventure of the wardrobe. But if the Professor was right, it was only the beginning of the adventures of Narnia. And I hope you've enjoyed listening to that story, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, The Chronicles of Narnia. And if you did, you could go to the library and you could get some other books out. The next book in the series is called The Horse and His Boy, so that might be one that you like to read as well.